The Bud Light CEO is on a media tour to try and help the company emerge from this recent issue, but I don't think it's going to get any better, at least in the near term. And so that's what we're going to dive into in this video. And so guys, as you smash that like button, let me run that intro. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now there's a lot of you guys that are new to this channel. You're just coming in right now. I'm getting a lot of views as it relates to this topic, and I just want you guys to know that at More Money, this is not a right-wing or left-wing channel. It's a home to value investors. So when you come to this side of the internet, note that it's just a bunch of people who are looking for opportunities in the securities markets. And so for example, when everything went into lockdowns, one of the things that I decided to do as a value investor is I didn't think that the world was going to be as bad coming out of this as the market believed. And so when the market went down as much as it did, I put everything into the markets when the lockdowns occurred, and it actually ended up doing very well because I did expect that the Fed was going to come in and support the markets, which it absolutely did. It's not like this playbook hasn't been used before. If you were alive or around in 2008, 2009, you saw a similar thing happen. And so that's the type of channel this is. And so I'm not really looking to make a stand either on the right wing or the left wing, nor do I care to make a stand. I'll let the people who are in the political realm do that. I don't talk about politics on this channel, but notice that Anheuser-Busch is at 15 times earnings, which doesn't seem to be huge value right now. But once we get into that sub 10 times earnings world, it may start to become more and more interesting. So this is something to keep an eye on. But it looks like Budweiser's CEO has actually come and started a media tour, and I want to show you guys exactly what he said on CBS. They got an exclusive from him.
Anheuser-Busch is working hard to win back customers. Bud Light tumbled from its spot as America's top-selling beer after transgender social media star Dylan Mulvaney posted a video showing the personalized Bud Light cans the company sent her as part of an online promotion. Anheuser-Busch U.S. CEO Brendan Whitworth spoke about the recent controversy in an exclusive interview on CBS Mornings.
It's been a challenging few weeks, and I think the conversation surrounding Bud Light has moved away from beer, and the conversation has become divisive. And Bud Light really doesn't belong there. Bud Light should be all about bringing people together. And there's been impact on the business, and I think that's publicly covered on Bud Light specifically. The feedback is to reinforce what Bud Light has always meant to them, which is good times, goodwill, and easy enjoyment. And we have that all packed inside of our summer campaign that we launched last week. We're in the middle of the NFL. I know Nate's not here, but we're in the middle of our NFL campaign that'll be out in a few weeks. It's right there. And I think the fact remains that millions and millions of consumers enjoy Bud Light each and every day.
So the crux of his response is that he's focusing on the brand and the products, which is something that almost everyone who's sort of boycotting this said that they should have been doing from the beginning. And so, you know, it really speaks to how he's sort of threading the needle right now, where he's not trying to offend either side of the aisle. But it's interesting that the media is, you know, obviously the media is doing what the media does, and they're trying to get a response out of him. And so they actually asked a pretty interesting question that he wouldn't answer. Now, my opinion is that he shouldn't have answered that question anyway, so I think he did the right thing. And so take a look at what I'm talking about here.
Now, he did say and reiterate that the company does support LGBTQ plus people, but it is interesting too, is what you're saying here. You're trying to thread that needle. On one hand, they're talking about a very vocal group of their consumers. The question, of course, is not only are there consumers who want them to take a stand. In other words, at one point, Tony asked him, look, he says he didn't know that this campaign was happening. And that's expected. Okay. He's the CEO, and not every little campaign and marketing detail is going to come across his desk. But the question was, if you had known, would you have stopped it? Or would you have given it the green light?
What did he say?
He wouldn't answer. Wouldn't answer that. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it shows exactly what kind of tough position he's in, because he's kind of damned whatever answer he gives on that question, right? Because one side of the political aisle is not going to like it. And so he's trying to thread the needle, and they're trying to move away from the conversation by shifting the conversation, as we've seen with the new ad that they put out today that you guys showed a little bit of, talking more about their employees, their distributors, people out in the heartland of America. That's how they're trying to change the conversation right now.
Now, not taking a stand in itself is a politically divisive act in this environment. That's how polarized we are in this this current environment. And what I will do after this next segment is I'm going to show you how both sides are reacting. But, I do want to give credit where credit is due. I think the CBS anchors actually really understand this, and I think they kind of understand what people are feeling as it relates to political messaging with brands. I think that most consumers, especially young consumers, millennials and Generation Z, we do want some messaging from corporations to suggest that they are citizens of this, global community of ours. But at the same time, you don't want to be over politicized in the messaging. And I think they got that with this last point that they made.
Maybe the thing is that, yes, young people want businesses, companies, brands to take some sort of social stand on certain issues, but not every company or product. Not every company or product has an audience that wants that, and maybe it's more about the product than it is about the issue.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
They just want maybe they just wanted a cold beer and keep politics out of it.
And now they're in such a weird place because they've walked into such a polarized environment. You can see that both sides are reacting. So for example, you can see right here that the segment that was released on YouTube by CBS News, it actually had a significant ratio, which shows just how steep this uphill climb will be for the brand. So it got 1.1 or 1,100 dislikes to only 67 likes. So that shows you how many people are just not happy with the company at the moment, despite the fact that I don't think he said anything controversial in that messaging. He just tried to stick straight to the beer. But what this speaks to is how difficult it will be to climb out of this. And what does this mean in terms of a look through for their next quarterly results and thereafter? Is this a permanent impairment? If it is a permanent impairment, it doesn't look like it's being reflected in the share price at the moment. And so, how does this impact the company's share price going forward? I don't know. We'll see with the results coming out, but this is something that I'm really fascinated in and continuing to watch as a value investor. And we just became aware just before the long weekend that Dylan actually addressed the backlash from the partnership in a new video released. And this sort of sums it up right here. You can see that Dylan is saying that Bud Light actually failed to support her or even reach out after she became the focus of conservative backlash. And here's the quote: "For a company to hire a trans person and then not publicly stand by them is worse, in my opinion, than not hiring a trans person at all." So here's a situation now where you're running into a problem with the other side, because now they're essentially saying that, look, you're not standing up for us, and so why should we even support you as a company? So this is where it gets really nuts. And this culminates with Bud Light being stripped of their LGBTQ plus rating by it looks like the nation's largest advocacy group, and they're taking action against Bud Light over its handling of the conservative backlash. So you can see once again that both sides are taking aim against the company. So it becomes a very dire situation. I don't know how this plays out. I want to know what you guys think, but could this create an opportunity with the company overall? Is it just the American consumer that's very polarized? Is, like I said, I think it's around a third of their revenues and EBITDA, or sorry, I think it's around 15% of their volumes and 30% of their EBITDA that comes from North America. The rest comes globally. So is the global company significantly impacted? I don't see evidence for that at the moment. And so, if the share price does continue to decline, now we get into the single digit EPS range. Does it become an opportunity? I think a lot of value investors will probably stay away from this, especially in light of the fact that the company does have a lot of debt. And so, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. But once again, guys, this is not a political channel. I don't care about the right or the left wing. All I care about is, the securities markets and what sort of opportunities are provided to us. And so let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later.